Following his time in office, former President Biden has continued to publicly criticize the Trump administration. His remarks often center on a belief that his successor's policies and actions undermine fundamental democratic institutions and the rule of law. Biden has expressed concern that the previous administration's approach to governance represents a significant departure from established norms and precedents. His commentary has touched on various aspects of the Trump presidency, including judicial appointments, foreign policy, and domestic initiatives. Biden has consistently argued that the Trump administration's decisions posed an existential threat to core American values and the stability of the nation's institutions. He has also contrasted his own administration's focus on strengthening alliances and upholding international agreements with what he describes as Trump's more isolationist and nationalist approach. This ongoing critique highlights a deep ideological divide and reflects the continuing political tension between the two leaders. Biden's public statements serve as a call to action for his supporters and a reiteration of his commitment to the principles he championed during his presidency. Why is America's political divide so sharp? The deep rift between figures like President Biden and President Trump isn't just about different policies. It's about a fundamental clash of worldviews. This intense polarization has been growing for decades, reshaping American politics in profound ways. At the heart of this divide is an increasingly partisan media landscape. With the rise of cable news and social media, people are more likely to consume news that confirms their existing beliefs. This creates echo chambers where opposing viewpoints are rarely heard, and the other side is often portrayed in a negative light. When people only hear one perspective, it's easy to see the other side as not just wrong, but as a threat to the country's values. Economic and social changes also play a big role. As some industries have declined and communities have changed, many people feel left behind or unheard by the political establishment. This has led to a search for leaders who promise to upend the status quo. On the other hand, many others feel that these changes are necessary for progress and see attempts to reverse them as a step backward. The structure of the political system itself contributes to the problem. Gerrymandering, the practice of drawing electoral districts to favor one party, has created more and more safe seats. This means politicians are often more concerned with appealing to their party's base during a primary election than with winning over moderate voters in a general election. This reduces the incentive for compromise and fuels a more extreme political environment. This combination of factors makes it difficult for political leaders to find common ground, leading to the kind of intense, personal criticism we see today. The increasing political polarization in the United States, as seen in the sharp divisions between leaders and their supporters, has significant consequences for both governance and society. One of the most direct impacts is political gridlock. When the two parties are unwilling to compromise, passing meaningful legislation becomes incredibly difficult. This can lead to a lack of action on critical issues like infrastructure, healthcare, and climate change, as each party prioritizes blocking the other's agenda over finding common ground. The result is a government that struggles to adapt and respond to the needs of its citizens. Beyond Washington, this polarization erodes trust in democratic institutions. When political figures constantly question the legitimacy of elections, the impartiality of the judiciary, or the honesty of the media, public faith in these pillars of democracy can weaken. This can lead to a more volatile political environment where people are less willing to accept the outcomes of democratic processes. Socially, the divide has seeped into daily life. Friendships and family relationships can be strained by political disagreements, as people increasingly view those with different beliefs not just as opponents, but as enemies. This tribalism makes it harder to have productive conversations and find shared solutions to community problems. The focus shifts from solving problems together to winning arguments and defeating the other side. Ultimately, this level of polarization can lead to a less functional government, a less cohesive society, and a greater sense of instability, making it one of the most pressing challenges facing the country today. Addressing political polarization requires a multi-pronged approach that targets the root causes and encourages a shift in both political culture and individual behavior. One key area for reform is the electoral system. Changes such as adopting nonpartisan or open primary elections could force candidates to appeal to a broader base of voters rather than just the most extreme members of their own party. Additionally, reforming gerrymandering through independent redistricting commissions would create more competitive districts, giving politicians a greater incentive to compromise and work across the aisle to win over moderate voters. Beyond structural changes, there is a need to foster a more constructive political environment. This could involve promoting media literacy to help people critically evaluate the information they consume and recognize partisan bias. Encouraging platforms that facilitate civil dialogue and cross-partisan interactions can also help to break down the echo chambers that reinforce a one-sided worldview. Programs that bring people from different backgrounds together to work on shared community projects can help build empathy and mutual understanding, reminding people that they have more in common than they realize. Ultimately, reducing polarization is not just the responsibility of politicians and media outlets. It requires individuals to actively seek out diverse perspectives, engage in respectful conversations, and reward leaders who demonstrate a willingness to compromise for the common good.